Okay, so in today's lesson, we are going to be solving for variables. What this means is instead of having numerical coefficients, we're going to have letters as coefficients. Seems a little bit complex, but actually it's exactly the same as if I had a numerical coefficient. So we're going to start off with a simple example. And notice that I have 2x plus 3x over here, I have a 2x over here, and then I have minus 6 over here. Our goal is to get all of the variables on one side and all of the constants on the other side. So I'm just going to simply start by adding my like terms. On this side I have 5x is equal to 2x minus 6. Now because I need all of the x's on one side, I'm going to subtract by 2x on both sides. And I get 3x is equal to negative 6. We're going to divide both sides by 3 because our goal is to get x equals something, and in this case it's x equals negative 2. Alright, so our first example, fairly straightforward, we've seen this before. Now, I've rewritten this equation in example 2. Example 2 says solve for x, so it's telling me what variable it wants me to find. I want to have at the end x equals something. Now, looking at example 1 and example 2, notice that what I've done is I've replaced the 2 with an a. The 3 here is a b, and in this case I've got a 2 here in there, and then instead of having the negative 6, I've just got a minus d. So it's fairly similar, but of course a little bit different. My game plan is going to be the same. I'm going to get all of my variables onto one side and all of my constants onto the other side. So if I subtract cx from both sides, then I get ax plus bx minus cx is equal to negative d. So I still haven't gotten x equal to, but for this one, if I look, notice that all of these have an x in common. So my strategy is going to be to take out a common factor, which is x, and what I'm left with is a plus b minus c. And this is also equal to negative d. Now, to finish this off, I want to get x equal to something. So what I would like to do is if I divide both sides by a plus b minus c, a plus b minus c. And from our rational expressions unit, remember that something divided by itself is always equal to 1. So now I'm left with x is equal to negative d over a plus b minus c. And this is my answer. I have x is equal to this whole piece. Alright, let's try another one. So the important thing is I need to look at what it's asking me to solve. So in this case it says solve for z. So I have a z there. Alright, so right now I have 3c divided by z is equal to 2a plus b. So remember, my goal is to get z equal to something. So right now z's on the bottom, and I don't want z on the bottom, I want z on the top, so it can be z equals to. Notice that what I can do is I can multiply both sides by z. Now it's really important that I put this whole thing in brackets because both sides are entirely multiplied by z. Now, this is the same thing as z over 1, and z divided by z is 1. And so on my left-hand side, I'm left with 3c. On my right-hand side, I'm left with 2a plus b multiplied by z. Now, I'm not going to distribute this. A lot of us will probably think, oh, I can open up these brackets. But in fact, I'm trying to find z is equal to something. Notice that I've already isolated z. So all I have to do here is divide both sides by 2a plus b. And notice that this piece divided by this piece is equal to 1. So now I'm left with 3c divided by 2a plus b is equal to z. This is what I wanted. I wanted to solve for z, so this is my answer. These brackets on the bottom, you can either have them or you can get rid of them. Both are correct. Oh, I lost my 2 there. Alright, one more example. Alright, so the next example says solve for x. Oh, it should say solve for y. Sorry about that. Now, notice that I have y in both of these. Now, remember from earlier on in the unit, we could find the lowest common multiple in the denominators. So here I have 5m, I have 2b, and really this is just c over 1, so my other denominator is just 1. Just going to scroll over a bit. So my lowest common multiple of these is going to be 5 multiplied by m multiplied by 2 multiplied by b multiplied by 1. They don't have anything in common, and therefore that's why we multiply all of this. We looked at this last year. So this can simplify to 5 multiplied by 2 multiplied by m multiplied by b. I left off the multiplied by 1 because anything multiplied by 1 is itself. And then here I've got 12mb. So this is a pretty hard example, and if you're struggling a little bit, that's okay. So by multiplying by the lowest common multiple, we're going to get rid of these fractions. So right now I have y over 5m minus y over 2b. I'm going to put brackets around this, and I'm going to multiply our lowest common multiple over here. And it's by the entire left-hand side. And it's we're also multiplying the lowest common multiple by the entire right-hand side, which is c. So don't forget, we have to distribute this. If you want to write this as over 1, that's fine. And what we end up with is 10mb over 1 multiplied by y over 5m minus 10mb multiplied by y over 2b is equal to 10. And I'm just going to put these in alphabetical order just because I like them in alphabetical order. And remember, order of multiplication doesn't matter. And then I'm going to look here to reduce. Well, m divided by m is 1. 5 and 10 divided by 5 is 2. 5 divided by 5 is 1. So in this first piece, I'm left with 2by. And in my other piece over here, I've got b divided by b is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. So over here, I've got minus 5my. And this is all equal to 10bcm. Okay, so again, this piece here came from there, and this whole piece here is equal to that. Now, again, my whole goal is to solve for y, so I need y to equal something. So notice that the common factor is y. So if I factor out y, then I get 2b minus 5m is equal to 10bcm. And now if I divide both sides by 2b minus 5m, then this piece divided by this piece is equal to 1. And so what I'm left with is y equals 10bcm over 2b minus 5m. So again, this last question was hard, but we're collectively using all of the tools that we've gotten out of this unit so far. This was difficult, and with practice they'll get a lot easier.